Okay. Okay, now I think that music's too loud. That should be about right. Now, David Hansel here, aka Dancing Bear. As you can see, I just got out of the shower. I've tried recording this twice already and it didn't work. So we're going to go ahead and do something a little bit different now. I needed to record it in 3 parts, evidently. And before it was too long, and the second time I recorded, I don't know what I did, but somehow I got it on a format that I couldn't edit. So this is on Taiji Chuan. I'm going to go over some basics here. We've got some pleasant music going. Hopefully you like it. And I have a visitor right now who might make his presence known in a minute. I posted on Facebook before about a neighborhood cat named, who I've nicknamed Puma. He kind of wandered into the room. My own cat Osla, she's over here behind me on the bed. Enjoying the visit. Anyway, so let's get into Taiji Chuan a little bit. The history of Taiji Chuan, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. There's a lot of articles that do, and they go into too much detail in my humble opinion, because it's the present that matters more than the past. But I will say that Taiji Chuan did originate in the Chen village. That's pretty generally accepted. It also was developed a great deal by the monks of Mount Wudong, the Taoist monks. It is rooted in Taoism. Now, if that was there, I think that's better. If that, or I should say, which came first, I'm not too sure. It doesn't really matter. It's somewhat kind of foggy as to how it actually developed. My personal belief, is that Qigong existed first, and of course there were martial arts, and that someone, the Chen family, perhaps wanted to build a bridge between Qigong and martial arts, and the result was Taiji Chuan, which is why Taiji Chuan can be used as an exercise form. But make no mistake about it, Taiji Chuan is a martial art. How it's used is really depends on how it's taught. So really, it's the teacher that's going to determine if it's usable as a martial art or not, or just as an exercise form. You want to come up here and say hello, Puma? No, he's exploring. So, now, Tai Chi versus Taiji Chuan. The reason you say Taiji Chuan, Taiji refers, really, it's a misnomer to abbreviate it that way. We do that in the West, but it's really a misnomer. Reason being is Taiji actually in Chinese culture refers to the theories and principles and philosophy that the physical movements, Taiji Chuan, are based upon. And also, the Tai Chi is what the Chinese call this symbol here, what we Westerners refer to as the yin-yang, they call the Tai Chi. So really, like I said, calling Taiji Chuan Tai Chi is a bit of a misnomer. The correct pronunciation is Taiji Chuan. It is spelled properly spelled either T accent AI, CHI, CH accent UAN. Reason for the accent is this is the Wade Giles spelling, Wade Giles translation, which left out a lot of phonetic pronunciation. Now, in Chinese, in the accepted Chinese, according to the Wade Giles and Pinyin translations, consonants are hard consonants. So the K is pronounced more like a G. The T is pronounced more like a D, so it's not Kung Fu, Gung Fu. It's not Taoism, it's Taoism. unless it's accented. That makes a difference. Now, so that, therefore, it is spelled the way I just spelled it. It's the CH without the accent is pronounced like a lazy J. So it's Taiji Chuan. The second way of spelling the pinyin is T-A-I, again accent on the T, J-I-Q-U-A-N, and it is not pronounced Taiji Quan, it is pronounced Taiji Chuan, because the Q is pronounced with a CH sound. That's why I take issue, or have in the past taken issue with people who pronounce or spell the Bodhisattva, or in Taoist religion, she's a goddess, Guanyin. Guanyin is spelled with a K or G, not a Q. But I found out recently in Vietnamese it's spelled with a Q, so take it or leave it. Now, by the way, the translation means Supreme Ultimate Fist. Also very noting, excuse me, that acknowledges its martial application. And also standing right there, and Puma just went out the window. So, what are the benefits of Taiji Chuan? You may have read these before, but the benefits are numerous. Besides the obvious the martial application and self-defense, if you just look at it from an exercise form, there's increased flexibility. People with arthritis, you have practiced Taiji Chuan and have great results. In fact, there's actually a form that's been designed specifically for people with arthritis by Dr. Paul Lam. It also helps blood pressure, helps stress, reducing those things. It teaches a person how to relax. You'd be surprised, a lot of people think they know how to relax and actually don't. It can be used as meditation, improves breathing. The list just goes on and on. It energizes, which is kind of a paradox. I'd say it relaxes, but it also energizes. It's just very, very. Without doing it, it's hard to describe. You have to do it to know what I'm talking about. By the way, I should have mentioned at the beginning of this video the reason that I'm not showing physical form. I tried to do that on webcam, and it hasn't worked very well. So I'm just going to go over the basics of it here and some descriptions and give rid of some misnomers, discuss pronunciation, that sort of thing. The basics of Taiji Chuan. Clothing. There's really no specific clothing. You don't wear a gi like you do in other martial arts. Some might require the traditional Chinese uniform, or might sell the traditional Chinese uniform, which is the cuffs and the jacket with the little ties and so forth. Really, most instructors would just say baggy pants and a t-shirt. That's really loose-fitting clothing is considered typical. Surgical clothes, the hospital clothes, hospital workers wear. That's actually very ideal. So something you feel comfortable in. Some people show up to a class in a t-shirt and jeans. If you can feel comfortable doing it that way, that's great. I often do my form in jeans. However, I do find jeans a little bit constrictive at times. Footwear. Now, footwear is important. Now, a lot of people think it's done barefoot because of martial arts. It's not. And of course, yoga is usually too. Chinese martial arts, for the most part, are all done with footwear. That they differ from Korean and Japanese arts in that aspect, among others. And the best footwear, especially for Taiji Chuan, is something flat-soled. If it does have a heel, you want it to have a very not much of a heel. Rope sandals. I still have them here. I took it upon myself to sell these at one time. I still have a little bit of inventory. I bought these first at a Renaissance fair. These are great. Sandals generally are not good. Flip-flops are out of the question. In fact, I don't even recommend flip-flops or regular wear because they're just so clumsy. You can get caught, and it's just, if you find yourself in a position that you need to run, come on. But You can wear sandals in Tai Chi Chuan if they fit snugly. And to fit snugly, they have to have a heel strap, like this right here. That's the back of the shoe. Definitely want to have a heel strap. These fit very snug. You think they're made out of rope and they burn and they feel uncomfortable. Actually, it's just the opposite. They feel very comfortable, very soft. They fit very snug, and of course, you can see they're flat-soled. They're ideal for Tai Chi Chuan. I've worn mine to class many times in the past. The one thing is you don't want to wear them to an outdoor class, especially in the morning when there's dew on the ground or if the grass has been watered. It doesn't ruin them. They're machine washable. You can throw them in the washing machine, then put them on high dry, and they're great. But they soak up water like a sponge. So if you get them wet just walking on dewy grass in 5 or 10 minutes, they are sopping wet, and you've got the sopping wet thing on your feet for the rest of the day. They do not dry out well. And when they do dry out a little bit, they get kind of musty smelling. But you throw them in the wash, they come out, they're as good as new. Doesn't ruin them, but, you know, kind of ruins having them for the day. So that's one example of footwear. Tennis shoes in general work pretty well. Moccasins are excellent. You can also buy martial arts shoes. They're flat-soled shoes or slippers. They're not very expensive. Some have rubber soles, some have cotton soles. I think the cotton soles are a little bit better, but once again, you don't want to wear them on dewy grass. Also, surfaces to practice on. I'll go into that. Outdoors, my favorite is loose dirt on top of hard dirt. Hard to describe that. You find that in a lot of picnic areas right around the table. They'll have that hard dirt with a little bit of loose dirt on top. I'm not talking about gravel, because gravel you get stones and so forth and it gets kind of clumsy. Ideally, you should be able to practice it on any surface. But of course, there's always still an ideal surface, and when you're starting out, there's an ideal surface. That one is great because it has some firmness, as well as I check the time here. Offers some firmness as well as a little bit of give, so it makes it easier to turn and so forth. I guess another good example of that is the ground you find on a baseball diamond. You know, very good surface to practice on. A lot of people practice on grass. Grass is great. It does get a little bit hard to turn on grass. Indoors, the ideal surface is a wooden floor, hands down. Concrete's okay. Concrete will be a little slippery. Linoleum is okay. Workout mats, good luck. I have actually done Tai Chi Chuan on a workout mat, and it is not easy. But because of the school that where my Sifu had his class, that's the room they gave him. It was a workout room. It made it very difficult, but we managed to do it. Now, let's see here. A couple more minutes on this video. Of course, the how you want to be in terms of status is, of course, relax. Now, well, you know what? I'm going to go into that in the next video. That's a little bit too much to go into. The flow of Tai Chi Chuan, though, of course, is basically slow. That's how most people view it and see it. A lot of people don't understand, though. Some schools actually teach it fast. Not you go slow at first, and then once you become pretty proficient at it, they'll teach you how to do it fast and hard, which is excellent, of course, for learning martial use of it too. Things also that come into martial play are a couple other aspects. Push hands is the common one. That actually involves two people to do it, and that's probably the core of, no, not probably, it is the core of the martial application of Tai Chi Chuan. Another thing is something called Chin Na. Chin Na is not a martial art in itself. It is a term for grappling, pressure point techniques, that sort of thing, similar to what you see in Aikido. Chin Na techniques are found in just about every Chinese martial art. And speaking of Aikido, a lot of scholars theorize that Moryu Shiba borrowed from Chin Na in developing Aikido. Now, like I said, you go slow, you might go fast, and then you would go into the push hands. Also, some people teach to pause while you're doing the form. That can actually help build lower body strength and add a certain isometric aspect to the workout. The stances typically, there's a horse stance, and in some aspects you might be doing a deep horse stance. Martial arts artists will know that. Again, I don't really have the room to demonstrate that. Half horse is typical, which is more relaxed.